Hey y'all, welcome to part 2 of My Best Friend is in Jail for Murder. If you haven't seen part 1, go check out part 1. It is already up on the channel. So, like I said, this video here, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, right? So, I just left off in the last video about her running away, right? I was receiving cryptic messages from her and her mom, all of that. While she's gone, I'm talking with her long-term boyfriend. We're going to call him Andrew for this story. And Andrew is just kind of pouring his heart out to me. He's so sad. He never meant for her to run away. And she's texting him. She's texting him pictures of her arm where she had done some self-harm by carving the date of their relationship into her arm, which in hindsight is psychotic, but he and I took it as she's deeply regretful and she feels bad about what she's done, and we just want her to come home safe, and we'll welcome her back with open arms. So I don't remember exactly how she came back, but she came back. I'm not sure if her mom had told me she was back or how that even went about, but she was back, and we were relieved. We were happy that she was okay, and I guess the cheating was forgiven. Um I just can't I wish I really wish I could remember how close together these events happened. I feel like they were pretty close, but regardless, irrelevant. I guess so. So yeah, the cheating was forgiven, and at that point, after she was home, I believe her long-term boyfriend Andrew sent me a friend request on Facebook because he and I had never been friends, and although I had gone to their school, him being a grade ahead of me, I had never met him before. I may have seen him around, but I did not know who he was prior to her dating him. While she was dating Andrew, I was dating another guy. And this particular guy, I knew we weren't a match. He was a grade ahead of me. So he was already in high school. He was a freshman in high school, and I was in eighth grade. And he had gone to my middle school. So I met him that way. And I had a super huge crush on him, and I liked him a lot, but he was wanting things that I was not ready for. Like I previously mentioned, I was too afraid to hold hands like that, and so we were just not a good match. The interesting part is Tiffany's parents were quite strict on her, and she was never really allowed to go out. So a lot of the things that she did with the people she was dating happened at school. Like she really couldn't go anywhere. So I'm telling you that to say that while she was cheating on Andrew with another guy, she was also cheating with my boyfriend. So my boyfriend was cheating on me with her, and I have no idea how they met each other. And the way I found out was literally through a Facebook post that he had made about her. And I was like, when did you guys become friends on Facebook? When have you guys met? They had seen each other in person. They had a lot going on behind everybody's back. So I was also a victim in her cheating scandal and didn't even know it, which is mind blowing because I'm over here supporting her. Like, girl, do your thing. Whatever, your hotivities, I'm your friend. It's fine. And whole time I'm over here also a victim. Make that make sense. So keep that in mind. And mind you guys, I'm in eighth grade when this is happening, so extend me some grace. The things I'm gonna tell you, I'm not proud of them, but it is what it is. Character development. We're gonna call it character development. Okay. So The days following her coming back home from her running away situation that likely never happened, um, Andrew is like, we're talking. He and I end up becoming like pen pals of sorts. We're talking, and I'm telling him, like, I'm distraught because I've been cheated on. He's distraught because he's been cheated on. And we're both like, you know what? Screw her, screw him. Like, this is just not okay. And one thing led to another. I get a crush on Andrew. I realized at that point that he seemed very down to earth. He seemed like he was looking for a serious relationship. I thought I wanted to see a serious relationship. And so I'm like, you know what? Like, I like you. Do you like me? He's like, yeah, I do like you. It's funny. It's funny, like, thinking about it now because obviously we are not together today. He was not my soulmate. But back then, I just thought it was destiny for us to be together because we went through something traumatic together, and now we can hold ourselves up and be happily in love. Well, we decided to go ahead and get in a little relationship. And I think we kept it to ourselves for a little bit, not long, because again, timelines move very quickly in middle school and high school. They move real fast. So, you know, we were already in love. And I want to say maybe a week later, it came out on social media that we were together. I do believe I told Tiffany before it was posted on social media, but I'm not quite sure if I did. I was obviously angry with her, so I didn't really feel any remorse for dating him because I felt like I was a better choice and I was not going to do him the way she had done him. So why not, right? I can't stop laughing because this is just insane. Like, clinically insane. We all should have been hospitalized. Anyway, Andrew went to Tiffany's school, right? My old school. I did not go there. So, although they were broken up and he and I were in a relationship, our relationship was virtual. We had to find time to like meet in person to have a relationship. So, there was a lot of discourse between Tiffany and I's mutual friends. People were inboxing me on Facebook, yelling at me, telling me that I was going to get beat up for taking her man and they were going to do this and threaten to jump me. It was a whole lot of people mad at me for what I felt like was not my fault. Like, why are we not mad at her for cheating? Why are we mad at me? I broke girl code, all that, right? And I mean, yes, you should never date your friends, man. You shouldn't. But like, she actually slept with my ex-boyfriend. So we even the score, maybe? I don't know. I really don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I mean, I shouldn't have done that, sure, but like it really manifested very naturally. Like we were children and we were talking and we found a mutual, I don't want to say attraction, a liking to each other, and it happened. Anyway, after a few weeks, it blew over. People accepted him and I as a couple, and he and I planned to meet in person after Skyping for maybe a couple months. And I remember that there was a park that was by my dad's house. And so I was able to, like, I think one of my friends came with me to go to the park and his dad brought him, Andrew, to meet me at the park. So he came up to me. I remember he was so skinny. And he was wearing like I think like a Hollister. Hollister was the thing back then. Like if you were not Hollister down, baby, you ain't had no money. And anyway, I remember him I could think a blue or gray Hollister shirt and like some jeans and I don't know, some random tennis shoes. And he came up to me and we took like a bunch of pictures together. We had like our first little kiss. And I was like, yeah, he's the one. I'm going to marry him. Delusional. I'm still delusional to this day. Like, I'm a hopeless romantic, and that will never change. I love love. I love romance. I love being romanced. I just love the idea of a Prince Charming taking me away. Like, all of that. It started when I was a child, and the delusion has continued forever. Anyway, we had taken a particular photo together, and if I can find it, I may or may not insert it into this video. I'm not sure I could find it. It may be deep in an archive of somewhere on the internet. Y'all, I found it. You're welcome. um, but this particular picture was us like holding each other in an embrace. And I think my friend had taken it. And I remember like I posted it on Facebook. I believe it was my profile picture. And that set people off. Like everyone was mad at me. Tiffany was mad at me. And like I said earlier, this type of drama, it happens fast and it blows over fast. So, at that point, there was nothing nobody could really do. And she never thought he and I would meet in person. So, like, us doing that kind of solidified the fact that, like, we're together, like, we're in a relationship, we're serious, we went steady. Okay. And so, you know, what ended up happening was Tiffany went on a revenge plot against me to try to get him back from me. And y'all, he was easily stolen. Easily. He was like, I'm so sorry. I realize I still do love her. We have a lot of history together. And even though she really hurt me, and he was like, you're such a great girl, Brooke. But like, I still love her. Y'all, my heart was shattered, heartbroken. And I was like, okay, there's nothing that I can do. And I was sad about it. But we stayed in contact. And I somehow convinced him to leave her to come back to me. I mean, I'm not proud of it, guys. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. But this began a journey of a several year long love triangle between the three of us. And it was so toxic because Tiffany and I picked up our friendship and we stayed friends. We stayed friends and we would only stop being friends when one of us was like with him, and we would all like he'd leave me to go be with her, he'd leave her to come be with me. Meanwhile, I'm trying to like really be with him. So like my family's met him at this point. I want to say like my freshman year of high school is when my family meets him. But like, like we're going on movies together. We went like on like a date with my parents. Like he spent Christmas with my family. I went to his house with his family. Like there was a lot of like, stuff that was serious high school relationship stuff going on. And it was so chaotic because I really wanted him and I to be a thing, but then them going to the same school, a lot of stuff was going on behind my back. Like one particular time on our little on-off journey, we were together, and like I had went to his house like a couple days before this happened. And one of my friends who was still at that school texted me like, hey, are you and him together? Because I just saw Andrew and Tiffany kissing in the hallway. And I'm like, what do you mean? Y'all, this friend had receipts. They sent me the pictures. They had taken a picture of them kissing and sent it to me on Facebook. And I was like, oh no. Mm-mm. So I'm calling him. I'm cussing him out. I'm talking to her, and this girl's lying to me. Like Tiffany is lying to me. She's like, "Oh, that didn't happen." He breaks down. He crumbles. He's like, "I'm so sorry." Da-da-da-da. And of course, me being weak in the knees, could not stand up, fall for it, forgive him. All for it to happen again and again and again and again and again for years. It's embarrassing how much that went on between all of us. So he and I are on and off like my whole this like it's kind of like the summer between eighth grade and freshman year of high school for me. Like we're just on and off. He's back and forth, back and forth. And I remember like at some point during our on and off when I was in eighth grade, or either the very beginning of freshman year, or maybe even the summer in between. I'm not totally quite sure. I remember it being warm outside. So it's likely, again, between the end of eighth grade and the start of freshman year of high school for me. I finally meet Tiffany in person. She invites me to her house for a sleepover. And I remember I was I was dating Andrew at this point, and she was, I don't know if she was single or if she had somebody else at this point. She may have. Like she dated tons of different people. And so I remember like I got to her house, my mom dropped me off, and I remember like sitting down next to her for the first time ever, and I was looking at her, and this is so funny. Funny to me. But her mom had like made us hot dogs, I think, for dinner. And like this girl, she could eat. She threw them hot dogs back. And I remember staring at her like, wow, she's so beautiful. And I was like, I love her. I love her. She's like, she's just as beautiful as she is on the internet. And even seeing her like disheveled, I felt so much adoration for her, and like all of our toxicity was out the window, all the back and forth we were doing, all the arguing, all the bullying on social media, it was out of the window for me. And I was like, I really like this girl. And so I essentially had caught real feelings, but I also had real feelings for Andrew, and I'm like, I need to be with him. So it was complicated, guys. It was complicated. Don't judge me, please. So as I'm staying at her house, I ended up like creating a relationship with her parents, and they loved me. So it eventually led to us hanging out all the time as much as we could. And we would hang out, of course, when she and I were friends, because we kept butting heads a lot. And 99.99% of the time it was about Andrew. Like she would date someone else, break up with that person, and then take Andrew from me. And then I'd be by myself and depressed. And then I would go hang out with her while she was dating him and then take him back. A lot of ridiculous stuff. Okay. One night, I believe during either my freshman or sophomore year of high school, I'm at her house and we're hanging out. And I had this guy friend who I had been friends with for a couple years, and we were just friends. She said she liked him. And I'm like, by all means, go after it. I'm with Andrew. Me and Andrew were doing well at this point, so it didn't really matter, I guess. But I'm like, go for it. Date him. So they were dating for a while. And then all of a sudden, me and Andrew had like some rocky situation happen between us. And this time it didn't have to do with Tiffany. I think he and I just weren't getting along, and I wanted a little break or whatever. And I needed to just like get away from it. So I'm spending the night at Tiffany's house one night, and she and I are talking. And mind you, she did know, she was well informed that I liked her. And she played me, like, she played into my emotions a lot by telling me that she liked me too. And she would say things to me like, feed me delusion. I'm going to marry you one day. Like, we're going to be together. And I would just be waiting for her to really like make that happen, which she never did. But this particular night, I'm laying with her. We would sleep in the same bed when I go to her house. And one night she just rolls over and she kisses me for the first time ever. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, I guess I really do like girls. Like I like this one. And so I enjoy the kiss, and immediately she starts crying, and I'm panicking. I'm like, "Why are you crying? Was it me? Am I a bad kisser? Like, what's the problem here? What did I do?" And she's like, "No." Her boyfriend, who was my friend, let's call him Tony. She's like, "Tony is gonna kill me, because I just cheated on him by kissing you." And I was like, "Oh." And so me really caring about her, I'm like, "You know what? I'll take the fall for you. You can tell him that I initiated it even though I did not. Um, you can do that." And so she was like, "Okay." And so she did. She told him that, and this boy, he went off on me. Full on cussed me out, and he was like, "You are my friend. How could you do this to me?" And like me being crazy and in love with this girl, I take it. I don't defend myself. I apologize, and it ends my friendship with him, which makes me really sad. Well, made me sad at that point, was because I really like I loved being his friend, and we had just like such a great friendship. We had the same interest in music. I like, it's just like good friends are hard to come by, and here it goes being ruined over an action that I didn't even do. But you know, what can I do about it? What can I do about it? Um I genuinely hope that I'm making sense and that I'm not all over the place. There's so much that happened in a span of many years, and I'm trying to condense it so these parts are not so long, but I'm also trying to be as detail oriented as possible. So if anything doesn't make any sense, I'm happy to make a follow-up video. If you have any questions, I can clarify anything. But long story short, the basis of my relationship with Andrew lasted literally from 8th grade until I believe the beginning of my junior year of high school, I want to say. Yeah. Um, mhm. Yeah, the beginning of my junior year of high school. It was and it stayed. It stayed a love triangle almost the entire time up until she decided to move on. From there, again, I wish I could say this was it. This was the craziest part that happened, but just so much more has went on. And I don't even I don't even know I don't even know where to go next from here. But that's the end of this part. We're going to move on to part 3, and I'm going to get into what happened in high school and what happened outside of high school when I graduated. So I'll see you guys in part 3. Go over there. Go watch part 3 if it's up. If it's not up yet, it'll be out shortly. Anyway, I'll see you guys there. Bye.